Hope everybody is doing well. Just in the chat, let us know where you're joining us from. It's always nice to know where you guys are all scattered. Just throw it in the chat there while I get my screen sharing here. Awesome. Yeah. Jacksonville with John. Kevin out in Milwaukee. I'm up here in Vancouver, Canada. What
Ooh,
else do we have here?
another Canadian in the chat. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, Jason, good to see you. Roger. Awesome. All right. Well, welcome to today's office hours. We do this every week. Sometimes I'm on, sometimes Kevin's on, sometimes Andrea's on. We are going to be answering some questions here. We don't have a topic at hand to discuss, so we're just going to jump into open Q&A. So if you have a question, throw it in the chat. You can almost treat this as somewhat of a high level, live support session as well. Again, we're happy to walk through some things here. Um, so this is, yeah, we'll jump right into it. I've got some questions already. Just a reminder, if you guys are not part of the Dirt Hacker Challenge, that starts next week. This is a 3-day challenge with me. It's a webinar, really, but it's interactive. You are getting deals done. You want to learn how to get organized. You want to learn how to streamline. What do we do next? How do we build some consistency? How do we end up building something where you can pull yourself out of doing all the operations and doing the things that you want to focus on as well? I will be talking about some things related to AI and this year specifically with agents coming along the way, it's really important we start centralizing our data and operations as well. You want to make sure those agents that you're going to bring on eventually here are going to be able to complete and execute on tasks successfully. So if you guys don't know, AI agents are pretty much like virtual workers that are not actually people, but um, AI. So that's really cool. We'll be sort of focusing around that as well. Cool. John, I see your question there. We will get around to that. I'm going to start off with some of the questions that we have already loaded up here. John, I think this is yours too. What is the best way to record mail responses? What is the best way to record mail responses? So,
So, first question I would have is how are you instructing those people to reach out to you on your letters? Are you asking them to go to your website and fill out a form, or are you just asking them to call you? Like, what does that look like?
They will call or text or email.
Okay. Okay. And when they email, are they emailing your account, like your just general email account?
No, it's my buyer email that I have tied to Pebble.
Okay, and that's tied to Pebble, so those emails land in your Pebble inbox.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, so in that case, and if you're handing out your Pebble phone number, then those calls will come into your inbox. Um, the best way to do that is to create that contact on the side of the inbox there, and then create a deal tied to that contact. So the way that we calculate the response rates um, is by calculating how many pieces of mail you sent out versus how many deals were created. So it's really that deal that is driving that response rate. Now, do you ask the user for their offer code, or are you putting that offer code on your mailer?
I am, and sometimes they give it to me. I think what I'm missing is what you just stated, the deal. I haven't always created a deal. I just create the contact, tie the
Okay.
property to them. But what you're telling me is if I then add a buyer deal to that response, it'll update my rate.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes. And if you have that or sorry, if you have that mailer code, typically what I like to do is, that when I get them on the phone, I will just say, hey, what's that offer code? And then right there, while I'm in the inbox, you can click add deal, type in that offer code, and then that will look up everything about that person. So it'll tie it to the contact, it'll create a deal, it'll tie the deal back to the campaign that sent the mail. So it really just sort of shortcuts everything if you can have that offer code. So that's sort of the best way to handle that, I would say.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. John, we'll come back to some of the questions here sitting in the chat. I'm going to go through here first. Melinda, Melinda, are you here? I'm just trying to. Nope. Okay, well, Melinda, you're asking here, can you show us a better way to organize? I think that's sort of a little bit of a broad question to be asking. Are we organizing follow-up? Are we organizing our stages? What is it that you want to see organized? Since you're not here and you're probably watching the recording, if you could join us live on this session. Otherwise, on Friday, I do talk about organizing how leads come in and how do we create deals. You certainly can join those sessions. That's on Friday. So if you go to our homepage, do I have my homepage here? No. Well, if you go to our homepage and then resources on the top and then on the left there, you're going to be able to see live training. You can join in on the leads and deal workshop. Again, hopefully better answering that question for you. I'm not sure exactly what are we looking to organize here in specific. So, by the way, if you guys want to submit questions in the future and watching the recording, just make sure your questions are a little bit more specific. Another one here by Anna. Honestly, I should have probably just took this out. Would like to see general workflow of the CRM. We've got a great success guide. So let me, how come I can't? Okay, let me see if I can do this. Something is wrong with my keyboard, of course. Okay, well, can't seem to pop it up here, but if you go to pebblerei.com/success, we do walk you through the best practice and best workflow of Pebble. So check that out, Anna. I don't think you're here either. I don't see you here. Okay, I'm going to keep going on. Jody, Jody, I see you're here. Good to see you. You want to see new features. So I'm going to leave you with this, Jody. I'm going to bring this link here. Every month, Kevin and I, both of us, we go live and we share in a very short format here of what's actually new. So, I can't copy this either. So if you head over to pebblerei.com/YouTube, it'll automatically prompt you to subscribe. And then you can also watch our latest feature updates. So this last,
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
let me pause this. This last one we updated you guys on houses. So you're able now to bring in house properties. So that means addresses, bedrooms, baths, square footage. That is now part of the property record if it is a house or a structure. We also introduced new handwritten envelopes. We also had live stamps, and we also able to print a tagline on the envelope as well. Kevin, can you remind me about the record lead forms from inbox at a very high level?
Yeah, so now if you are in the inbox and say somebody calls you and you have like a set of questions that you always want to ask every lead that comes in, you can now click that start conversation,
Right.
record lead form, and then if you have that, you'll have that lead form set up in your for that inbox, you select which one you want to fill out, and then you can just sort of ask the questions on the phone, just like an answering service would, and fill those out, and then that lead form will be attached to your contact and deal when you create that.
Yeah, it just makes it a lot more convenient if somebody called you and you wanted to fill out a form and you're not just typing in a box or text somewhere randomly. You've created a form inside of Pebble. You want to fill it out while you're on the phone. You can easily do that, and that'll come into well, you can do it right from your inbox now.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing here is the collapsible task list. Again, have a watch of this video, Jody. This is available for you guys. And that's why we sort of record that. Yeah. Nathan, how to avoid getting error when importing lists? Yeah, so I think the big thing is to make sure you have the fields, the required fields filled out. Those are typically the asterisks. One common thing that we see sometimes with issues is to do with the APN. Sometimes if you open it with a spreadsheet program like Excel, it can actually convert a long string of numbers into what we call scientific notation. And then you didn't realize it did that automatically. You changed something on that list. Maybe you added a new column just for pricing or whatever. It's saved it and you're trying to bring it in and there's an error with the APN. You want to check that specifically. That's probably one of the more common ones I typically see. So that's one to avoid. Everything else, you're gonna choose your APN that is required, county you're gonna be choosing, um, some of the detail, like the owner details and the mailing address. I mean, that's pretty standard. Most of that should be able to come in without a hiccup. Okay. If it's missing, obviously we're going to skip over that. If you don't have that for the specific property, we're going to skip bringing in that property. So make sure it's filled in.
Yeah, Nathan, if you ever have issues with importing, just go ahead and send your list to hello@pebblerei.com. Our fearless support team has hundreds of hours of experience with importing all different kinds of lists in all different kinds of formats. So just send that over to them and explain, what the issue that you're seeing. I'm sure they'll be able to spot right away what might be the issue there and point you in the right direction.
Correct. Yep. Thanks, Tracy, for adding the email there. John asks, I would like to know the best way to attach a contact/property to an offer I mailed so my response rate is accurate. I think we sort of talked about that.
Yeah. Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Okay,
Awesome.
cool.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna butcher this name. Avenging Kate. I noticed an issue this month where after submitting a lead form from Mojo, I'm not sure what Mojo is, I receive a text confirmation. But when I click the lead stage profile, the submitted form is missing. I've attached a video for reference, submitted it via email. Additionally, I've been experiencing issues with Pebble priced tool. Pebble priced tool. Oh, okay. Maybe you mean the Pebble Pricer tool. That's different from Priced, which is another service. Um, so yeah, this is a little bit specific. I receive a text confirmation, but when I click the lead stage profile submitted, the form is missing. I think we might need to be able to see this on video before we can answer. There's a few terms here. I'm not sure if I fully get it here. Avenging, do you want to unmute yourself? Maybe you want to maybe just do a quick screen share? Or I know you recorded it. Tracy's here on the support team. She'll certainly get back to you guys as well. Yeah. Do you want to unmute yourself? We don't hear you there. I don't know if you're there or not. Okay. All right. For now, I'll just go on. I wasn't sure with a lot of these. Kevin, I don't know if we probably need more clarification on this.
Yeah, probably the best way to handle that is to send us a message into
And you already attached a
support.
video. That's very helpful.
Okay. Yeah, we'll handle that there. That's probably the better forum for that.
Yeah. Roger, when importing a campaign, I am losing data. Optional column headers are not blank, but they are not identified as blank.
They're identified as blank. Okay. Roger, are you importing, are these specifically optional columns that you're bringing in?
Yes. Only reason I started bringing them in is because the first time I tried to upload this particular list, it was asking for the parcel address. It wanted the first line. It wanted well, I already put in the state. I normally get that. It was also asking for the zip code for the parcel and the
Okay.
city.
For the
And
parcel,
so,
yeah.
but I didn't have those in my list to begin with. So I went
Yes.
back and recreated it and did it, and it's still giving me the same problems. And when I upload it, I'm only getting about 115 out of 220 or so.
Yes, so this is so we recently added those property address fields there so that you can this is in those scenarios where you have properties that have an address and you want to bring those in. We've actually discovered that there's a bit of an issue in that if you fill out one of those fields, like you select state or zip or something, Pebble is going to throw an error because it wants to see the full address. So Jesse, down there where it says property address line 1, line 2, if you fill out any of those, we're going to assume you want to bring in the full address. And so Pebble will complain if it's missing some data. And oftentimes if you're dealing with land, you've got, rows in that spreadsheet where there's missing data. And so you'll see those errors happening. What I would recommend here for now is to just unselect those columns. I assume you don't need to bring in the address. Yeah, so there it's saying that that the address city and state and zip have errors, and that's because we selected one of those things. So if you can just unselect those, basically just select the blank option, then everything should come in fine.
Yes, I did that, and it's
Okay.
still coming up. It's not, it's just choosing it anyway, and it's having these error boxes come up. I see even in
Mm,
this example that they're not chosen, but the error boxes are still coming up, which if
okay.
I could, I mean, I can ignore it, but it's not giving me all my data.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely a problem. Okay. Have you talked to support about this yet?
I did like about 30 minutes ago, I sent in a request.
Okay.
And I found out
We
you guys
will
were having a meeting, so.
Good, yeah. Yeah, we will definitely take a look at that. We actually have a fix for this that should be shipped here in the next couple of days that basically where we ask before you even import the list if this is a land list or a housing list. And if you select the land, we just don't even give you the option to add a property address. So that will fix the issue. But in the meantime, support can get that working for you so that you can get those properties in.
Should I send my list to support then?
Yes, yes. Send that, attach that to the email there, and we'll be able to get that in for you.
So is that hello?
Hello. Yeah, it's the one in the chat.
Hello@pebblea.com. Yeah.
Okay.
And Tracy's here, so she can have a look out for it.
Perfect.
And like Kevin just mentioned here, Roger, it might be just a temporary thing until that fix is pushed in a couple days, and then you shouldn't have to worry about that because we will ask you about either it's house or land. So
Okay.
yeah,
Perfect. Thank you.
yeah. Awesome. Okay, good. Glad we got you some clarity on that. Are there any other questions we can help answer here, guys? Okay. All right. If there aren't, we're always here every Wednesday. Please do watch out for our videos on YouTube. Do subscribe. I know you guys love YouTube. Go ahead, Jason. Yep.
Hey, thanks, Jesse.
Yep.
You hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. As you know, I'm brand new at this, and I know there's lots to read. I'm a little bit of a fire hose situation, both with training and trying to look at all this stuff. But from
I
a
know
key
that feeling.
metrics, yeah, exactly. It's okay. It's good. You want to live there.
Yeah.
Key metrics and reporting. I kind of like to start there, and I've listened to a few of your podcasts and other ones, and there's a variety of them for different parts of the business, whether it's acquisitions or marketing. What are the and I see you guys seem to have a real focus on return on assets and other things. Can you give me an idea in terms of what key metrics you can help with for marketing?
Yeah, I think the big one to pay attention to is your response rates. Are you, and Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, you are doing mailing. I think that we last spoke.
Yes. Yeah. I'm doing mailing, not through Pebble yet, 'cause I'm sort of in the trial mode and doing
Sure.
this
Yeah,
thing next
that's
week.
totally fine. So you still want
Yeah.
to create a mail campaign through Pebble and export that out. Tracy, if you don't mind getting the article for Jason about mailing with a different mail house, you still want to get your mailing in. You still want to bring those in. So when those leads come in, you want to attribute that lead to the correct campaign. Okay, that's going to help you understand how well your mailing campaign is doing. Now, when you're sending out your mailing campaign, Jason, I urge you to do a split test. So can I ask you which mail house you're working with? Is that with Lob or?
Yes.
Okay. So and I think you're coming from the LG Pass world, right?
Correct.
Okay. So when you're
Just
sending
literally
it
been
up,
going out for 2 weeks, so it's
oh, so it's already out. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you put our mailer codes on there by any chance?
I did not. No.
Okay. That's going to be a little bit trickier but I mean, if you only got one mailing campaign, that's fine. Still bring that in. When those leads come in, assign that lead to that, or assign that deal to that specific campaign. But moving forward, I'd urge you to do your split testing, right? A version A versus a version B. I think this is pretty normal for you.
This is what attracts me to Pebble
Yeah.
versus The limited data that goes into LG Pass, it's extremely minimal, and I just like the idea of having more at my fingertips. So when someone does respond, there's the data is there. It's cheap to store
Exactly.
data,
Yeah.
so might as well have more if I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, and I'd like to. I envision getting running with you guys,
Yeah.
and we're just obviously response rates key. Primarily, as I understand it, for pricing. If you get too many responses, you're pricing too high. Too few, you're too low.
And that depends. Are you actually sending out an offer right away? I mean, a lot of people don't. Maybe some people are throwing out range offers. There's so many different strategies. So yeah, when you're split testing, make sure you know what you're testing. Are you testing on the price, the format of the letter? I like to do
Right.
low-hanging fruits like the letter if format, like envelope with a satellite image versus a postcard with the satellite image of the property. What performs better? Great, the postcard. We've had people 6x their results in less than a couple mailing campaigns. So
Yeah.
really important to test and know what you're testing. So yeah, I would start from there.
Any other suggestions from a pricing standpoint as well? It seems very. I mean, you're really putting in a big margin of safety, which is a safe way to do it. Generally, it's put in the lowest
Yeah.
number you can and start from there. I get that, but at the same time, is there anything that can maybe be a bit more of a refined version of that? I see there's all kinds of services out there, and again, new fire hose.
Yeah. My recommendation is to just settle on some format to begin with, whether that's,
Yeah,
if you just do a quick Zillow search and see that in general the properties around here are selling for, $1,000 an acre, go ahead and slap those prices on your blind offers and just see what your response rate is. If you get no responses, then you're probably a little too low. And if you get too many responses, that's okay. You can always say no. I can't tell you how
Yeah.
many times I totally overblew my pricing, and I just got the lead back, looked at the property, realized, okay, this is like worth half of what I put on my letter. And then you can go back to the person at that point to say, hey, sorry, I made a mistake. Here's my actual price. The worst they can do is say no. And that's that's okay too. It's almost better to price high for your first mailer and just see what kind of response you get.
Go through the
And then
reps.
you'll be able to settle in pretty quickly after a few
Perfect.
campaigns.
Okay.
We've also got this pricing tool, Jason. Have you checked this out before?
I have not. No.
Okay. So it's a free Chrome extension. It gets a lot of downloads. So do check this out. It's pebblerei.com/pricer. Again, it'll just make pricing a lot easier. So someone like Mike Yoss has said, there's a little bit of a testimonial, but you can see here Kevin sort of using the tool here, and you can see what that's like.
Okay.
Yeah, so just makes it a lot quicker for you to do your pricing. But again, pricing is an art form. Know your area. Know the kind of people you're working. When we're talking about above a certain acreage, some people find more success sending out a ranged offer, and so it's just so it is an art form. So that's something.
Yeah, it's testing and seeing
Yeah,
results and
exactly.
understanding kind of where you
Yeah.
want to play. Okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Carolyn here asks, can the letters in Pebble be edited, or can I? Yeah, absolutely. So Pebble has a full editor inside of the system. You can certainly edit. So we have a full text editor. You can, it'll dynamically pull information from the property. You can even pull the satellite image of the property. Yeah, you can. And you can certainly import. So I don't call it importing. I call it copy and pasting. Just create a blank document and just copy and paste. That's pretty straightforward to do that. And then you can just format it within the editor itself. Yeah. And sorry, I have to keep doing this. My keyboard's just acting up. So let me just quickly show you this, and we're gonna show you where that is. Carolyn, staging. Okay, so let me reshare my screen here. Sure. Okay. If you go into templates here, so you can come into our master library of templates and then add a a mail template from one of ours and edit from here. You can create a blank one and edit from there. So when you have an edit and a template and you've added to your own library, you can again come in here and start editing things in here. You can see in the blue highlights, these are called placeholders, and those are that you can add here. There's an article for that. I'm going to get Tracy to copy and paste an article on how to edit your own templates inside of Pebble. So, yep. I mean, I even have a video of me using Canva. I don't know if you guys like Canva, but I did a design on Canva. I brought it into Pebble as well. So, yeah, it's not like you do need to kind of save some images and bring it in. It's kind of tedious, but you certainly can do it. Yeah. Hopefully Tracy will get that in. Okay. Any other questions I can help answer here, guys, or both Kevin and I can answer? All right, so we're live every Wednesday, as we mentioned. You can join this. If you aren't part of the Dirt Hacker Challenge, leave your email there. I will see you next week for the 3-day challenge. We are going to work through different parts of how do we get organized, how do we get systemized. So make sure you do check that out. You can just again throw your email there. Other than that, I hope to see you guys around. Articles are in the chat, so if you need to grab those, grab them now before I close this out. Have a wonderful rest of the week, everybody, and hope to see you guys around. Take care, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.